Hello guys, Robot1 here, and today I am doing the Future of Yu-Gi-Oh! On my segment, and today I am going to be talking about raidraptors. And for you guys who haven't seen the segment before, this is where I talk about deck cards, decks, archetypes, anything that I think will be good later on in the Future of Yu-Gi-Oh! And today I'm going to be talking about raidraptors because soon they're going to be getting some really good support. And I'm also going to be talking about a few cards that are already out, which I think will be used in deck, obviously, to make it even better. And I just thought it would be good to talk about this. And it seems I am missing a card right now, which I'll put on the front. And so, yeah, let's get on with this. So the first card we're talking about is Raidraptors Vanishing Lanius. Now, this is a rank. This is a dark level 4 winged beast effect monster, 1300 attack and 1600 defense. Its effect is once per turn during your main phase, if this card was normal summoned or special summoned this turn, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster from your hand. Now you guys are probably thinking, oh, that's just basically like any other generic multi-summoning card in the format. Well, yes, it is, but the difference between this and most of them is that it's not once per turn its effect. You could be like, oh, I have this card. I have multiples of this card in my hand. I can then normal summon this, special summon another one, special summon another one, special summon another one, and then special summon another Raidraptor from my hand. Meaning you could go 4 monsters on the board and make some rapid XYZ plays. And it also can enable so many different things for the deck, because this is an XYZ based deck through and through, making it just so good. And with this card, it just helps the deck make XYZ much more powerful. And I thought it would be good to talk about this card as well, because it can actually help the XYZ mechanic in the deck, which it really does need, because this deck actually has trouble. Well, it doesn't have really trouble, but it's not really got. It's got monsters that can multiple summons, but this is probably one of the best cards to multiple summon. And it seems I'm missing even more cards from this thing, so I'll just I'll get those really quick as well, because for some reason I did not prepare. So let's just move some of these good cards in here, because of course we're going to want to use them. Yep. Yeah, that one can stay out, because that one's not that great. And this one. There. So let's go on to the next one then, which is Raidraptor Mimicry Lanius. Now this is a dark level 4 winged beast effect, so basically all winged beasts, darks, all of that. 1100 attack, 1900 defense monster. Now this card's effect is once per turn during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can increase the level of all Raidraptor monsters you currently control by 1. Now this is really an effect you would use with this card, because that effect isn't really that good, because you don't really want to go for high ranked XYZ with this, because the highest you could probably go with it in a turn is 1. Unless you had multiples on board, then you could probably go to 6 or max 7. And it's a decent card. That effect is decent, but I wouldn't say it's an effect I would want to use. Because if you've got like a level 3 Raidraptor on the board, which you probably wouldn't use, because the lower levels you don't really want to use. You want to use the rank 4 engine. Well, except for maybe one of them, which I will be talking about. And so yeah, that effect's okay, but it's not really an effect you would want to use with the deck, because that's not really one of the effects you would want to use. So its next effect is during your main phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can banish this card, add one Raidraptor card from your deck to your hand, except Raidraptor Mimic Lotus. You can only use this effect of Raidraptor Mimicry Lotus once per turn. Now that's the effect that's really good on this card. It's just, when you think about it, this card is your searcher for the deck, your monster searcher, and there's ways to actually put it in the graveyard with all the Raidraptor support. Plus there's stuff like Foolish Burial, there's stuff like there's stuff like Foolish Burial, other stuff in the deck that allows you to send these cards to grave. Plus you could just be like, oh, I have this card, I'm going to overlay it with another card monster on my board, use that, then detach this card. This card will then get me another search, and then I will have more plays. Because this card can't just summon monsters, it can also just search monsters. It can also search spells and traps. So that gives you also ways to set up your board for next turn, which helps the deck out a lot in the game. So that's one of its biggest search potentials. So yes, that's Mimicry, one of the better cards of the deck, and now we're going to go on to the next one, which is really one of the cards that works with this card in its favour. So next one is Raidraptors Tribute Lanius. Now this is a dark level 4 winged beast effect, 1800 attack, 400 defense. So it's got basically one of the beat stick monsters of the deck. Beat stick normal summonable monsters. Its effect is, during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can send one Raidraptor card from your deck to the graveyard. So that effect basically works in tail with Mimicry, because you could be like, normal summon this, banish this, send this to grave, banish it, gain effect, search, maybe search out one of your Raidraptors that you could special summon from hand, get an Xyz play, use the Xyz play to make more plays, and then just keep going and just making the deck even more powerful, because you could just get more searches. And its next effect is, during your main phase 2, if this card destroyed an opponent's monster by battle this turn, you can add one rank up magic quick play spell card from your deck to your hand, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Raidraptors monsters. You can only use this effect of Raidraptors Tribute Lanius once per turn. So that effect is the way to get all your rank up magic cards to your hand. So you could be searching all the ways to all your rank up magic cards, well, your quick play ones at least, and it would be allowing you to just make your bigger Xyz monsters quicker. It would allow you to make all your bigger plays, and it would just to help you make your deck a bit faster, just so you could get out those big cards. Because really, in this deck, you want to get your rank up magics to hand, make a big Xyz, make a bigger Xyz, and then just go in for the kill. Because this deck seems to be really powerful. It's a great deck against pendulums, and it's just got loads of different plays that it can make. Its main plays revolve around Xyz summoning, so it's like, if you're more into Xyz and not Pendulum, then this is one of the better go-to decks, because this is one of those Xyz based decks that can actually compete with Pendulums, which is really why I'm talking about this, because it's one of the better decks that's going to come out soon. Well, already is out, but it's going to get the better support soon. And just searching quick play rank up cards is really good. So next we're talking about Raidraptors Fuzzy Lanius. Now this is a dark level 4 500 attack 1500 defense winged beast effect monster. Its effect is, if you control a Raidraptors monster other than Raidraptor Fuzzy Lanius, you can special summon this card from your hand. So that effect already entails that you're going to be special summoning it from your hand. So this is one of the cards you could be like, oh, this effect, send this to grave. This effect, banish. Search this, special summon this, make Xyz plays. So you've already got ways to make Xyz plays because of this card. And it's just a lot faster thanks to this card. So its next effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Raidraptors Fuzzy Lanius from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate any of this card's effects, except Raidraptor monsters. You can only use each effect of Raidraptors Fuzzy Lanius once per turn. So that effect basically means this card gets detached from Xyz material. You're getting another one for next turn, and also special summoning it from hand. So you've got a recyclability from the deck. You can thin your deck out a lot easier, and it just makes Xyz plays a lot better. So this card is one of the better Raidraptors as well, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because this can actually help your Xyz plays go faster. Because you could be summoning, like, say, any of your Raidraptor Xyz that are rank 4 and you can bring out, and this card will just make it go faster because you can just search it out easy, and then you can just make more Xyz plays because of this card exists. So it's one of the better, it's one of the good ones to special summon because it has recyclability. You can special summon from your hand to make more Xyz plays, and it just is an all-round good card. Sure, it's not really got a good stats, but it's still a decent card because you can make more Xyz plays with it. So that's that for Fuzzylanius, and the next card we're going to be talking about is Raidraptor's Last Tricks. Now, this is a level 1, dark, 100 attack, 100 defense monster. Now, you guys are probably thinking, oh, that's not really that great. But the reason you play this card is because it goes entwined with some of the rank up magic spells. So now that I'm going to read out this card's effect. When a Raidraptor monster you control battles during damage calculation in either player's turn, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you gain 100 attack for each spell and trap card you control and in your graveyard. So basically, that effect is when either you or your opponent attacks, you can special summon this from your graveyard, gain like say you'll have like maybe 3-4 spell or trap cards in your graveyard and maybe 2 on field. You'll be gaining an extra 500 life points plus an additional monster, which is quite good, but that's not really the effect you use this for. The effect you use for is the one I'm about to tell you. Now, you contribute this card, special summon 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster from your extra deck in defense position. Its effects are negated. It is returned to the extra deck during the end phase. Also, your opponent takes no battle damage for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Raidraptor Last Tricks once per turn. Now that's the reason you play this card, because this card allows you to special summon 1 Raidraptor from your extra deck. If you have a rank up card in hand, you can rank up that Xyz, go into an Xyz play, make bigger monsters, and just have a big wall or something like that for your plays. Because you could be summoning, I'm not going to read out the effects, but you could be summoning something like this or this, just because you have this card. And it just makes plays a lot better for this deck, because it can bring out your biggest wall, and it can bring out one of your best monsters. So you cannot deny the potential of this card. So that's Raidraptor Last Tricks. Let's go on to now let's start on the spell cards. So the first spell card we're going to be talking about is Raidraptor's Nest. Its effect is, it's a continuous spell card, and its effect is, if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Raidraptor's Nest once per turn. Now, this spell card essentially gives you recyclability, searching ability, and usually in this deck you're going to have at least 2 Raidraptors on the board. So this is actually a really good card to just siphon through your deck, recycle your graveyard, get more plays, and just help search out your deck. It's basically one of the better cards of the deck because it can actually help you search through your deck, which you really want to do because you really want to be searching out all these cards so you can make more plays. So that's why you play Nest. That's pretty obvious because it's just your searcher of the deck. So next we're going to be talking about Rank Up Magic Revolution Force. Now this is a quick play spell card, and its effect is, during your turn, you can target 1 Raidraptor monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Raidraptor monster that is 1 rank higher than that target, by using that target as an Xyz material. So that effect is basically what every rank up magic card is. It's just bigger Xyz plays and all of that, so just an additional rank up. But the reason this card is so good is for its next effect, which is, during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Xyz monster your opponent controls with no Xyz materials, take control of that Xyz monster, then special summon from your extra deck 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster, 1 Raidraptor monster that is 1 rank higher than that monster, by using it as an Xyz material. This special summon, these special summons are treated as Xyz summons. Attach Xyz materials also become Xyz materials on the summoned monster. So essentially, this is, okay, my opponent has an Xyz monster that has no materials now. Say like a Castel, which would probably be one of the more relevant ones that they would have with no Xyz materials, because it's more likely for them to have something like that. I can then go and rank it up into one of the rank 5 Xyz monsters in my extra deck, which you do play because there are rank 5s in your extra deck, and you just summon that out, and then they lose a monster, you gain a monster, and and it just helps, and it just makes the deck better. Because this card can literally be like, oh, I steal your Xyz monster, I make big Xyz monster, then you can't get over my Xyz monster. So essentially that's one of the better plays for the deck, because it can just be like, your opponent negs, you plus. So it's really just good for that fact. So yeah, that's why you play the Raidraptors Revolution Force. Now let's get on to the next one, which is Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force. Now this card is, pay half your life points, then target one Raidraptor Xyz monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, then special summon from your extra deck one monster from that is 2 ranks higher than that monster by using it as an Xyz material. This special summon is treated as an Xyz summon. Now you're probably thinking, why am I talking about this? You have to pay half your life points. Well, this card can enable infinity. Because you could be like, oh, I have a rank 4 Raidraptor in my graveyard. I can pay half my life points, summon infinity from my extra deck, have negates, and then be like, oh, I'm going to rob one of your monsters as well for a material. So that's really good as well. Plus, if you've got a big Xyz monster in your graveyard, then you could be like, oh, I could summon my biggest rank 10 monster in the entire deck because I have this rank 8 in my graveyard. So this is basically this could save your life and win you the game just because you somehow had this card. So this is a very good card as well because it can actually save you from losing. And it's just very good in its own right because it can just help the game state for you, and it just makes you have more monsters. Because you could be in a really tight spot, your opponent's about to win, you top deck this, and then you win because of it. It's one of those cards that you think, oh, it exists, I can win because of it. So yeah, Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force is a really good card for the deck. And next we're talking about Raidraptors Magic, Rank Up Magic, why do I keep saying Raidraptors? Rank Up Magic Skip Force. Now, Rank Up Magic Skip Force is a normal spell card. Its effect is target one Raidraptor Xyz monster you control, special summon from your extra deck, one Raidraptor monster that is 2 ranks higher than that targeted than that target. By using that target as an Xyz material. This special summon is treated as an Xyz summon. Xyz materials attached to that target also become Xyz materials on the summon monster. So that's that effect. It basically allows you to just get 2 ranks on the monster and just go straight into a bigger Xyz monster. So you could be like, I have rank 4, I can make then rank 6. Or I have rank 8, then I can make rank 10. So what you guys should know what this card does, but I will get to it soon. So that effect basically makes the plays a bit faster. It can give you higher, bigger monsters, and it can actually win you the game because of it. And it also works along with this, because you could be tributing this, summoning, say, rank 8, and then rank up into rank 10. Which is really good, because also you could be like any others. It doesn't entail just for that. You could be like summoning rank 4, rank 3, which you don't really play to make rank 5, but you could be making all these different cards because of Skip Force, and it just helps the deck out so much. So yeah, that's the last spell card we'll be talking about. The next card we'll be talking about is Raidraptors Readiness. Now this is a normal trap card. Its effect is, this turn, Raidraptor monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So that effect basically protects them, but that's not really the reason I wanted to speak about this card. The reason I wanted to speak about this card is, if you have a Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You take no battle damage this turn. Now, this is a trap card that you can activate during either player's turn in your graveyard, and just save yourself. Oh, you're about to lose? Oh, you're up against Cosmo? Oh, you end up against anything? I banished this card. You cannot get your farm yell effect. You cannot kill me this turn. I am alive. You cannot beat me. This card essentially just allows you to save yourself from really tight situations. Because you can literally be like, oh, I'm about to lose. I have this card in my graveyard. Banish. I now live. So this is a really good card because you can actually save yourself, and it just makes your game just carry on, and it's so good because of that. So that's why it talks about readiness. And the last trap card we're going to be talking about before we move on to the Xyz monsters is Raidraptors Gust. Now this is a counter trap card with the effect of when a spell or trap slash trap card is activated while you control a Raidraptors monster, negate that activation if you do destroy it. So you're probably thinking, oh, but this doesn't stop monster effects. Well, that's not the point. This card can negate pendulum scales. It can negate spell and trap cards. It can negate anything. This card can negate warning. It can negate strike. It can negate bottomless. It can negate time space. It can negate anything because it's a counter trap. It's got speed spell free, and it can just stop your opponent from screwing you over, which is so good. Because when your opponent activates that warning that could kill you, you could have this card. They pay 2,000 life points. You then win because of they paid 2,000 life points and you had Raidraptors Gust. It's just so good and just so worth the pay just because of this card exists. So it's just a really good card to play, and it's just great. I love this card to bits, and I play it in my Raidraptor build. So, let's move on to the last 3 cards we'll be talking about, which is the first one, Raidraptors Force Tricks. Now, this is a dark, rank 4, 100 attack, 2000 defense monster. It takes 2 level 4 monsters to make. Its effect is, this card gains 500 attack and defense for each other winged beast type monster you control. So, basically, extra attack and all of that, which is really good. And its next effect is the reason why I'm talking about it. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, add one level 4 dark winged beast type monster from your deck to your hand. So this basically allows you to search all your Raidraptor monsters, which can help in plussing, because you could be like, normal summon this, special summon this, make this, detach this, get 2 searches instantly, just because you had this card, which is really good, and it just helps the deck so much. Which is really good for the deck, I think. Just 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay, so let's carry on. So the next card we're going to be talking about is Raidraptor's Satellite Cannon. Now, this card, it has Pokeballs on it, let's be honest here. We got those Pokeballs here and here. So yeah, so this card is Raidraptor's Satellite Cannon. It is a dark, rank 8, 3000 attack, 2000 defense, effect exceeds 6 winged beast monster. It takes 2 level 8 winged beast type monsters to summon this card. Its effect is, if this card is Xyz summoned by using a Raidraptor monster as an Xyz material, you can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of this card. So that's actually a really good effect, because this card essentially is it's essentially heavy. Well, actually, it's essentially a Harpy's Feather Duster, which you cannot chain to, which is really good, because you could be like, oh, I have a rank 6 Raidraptor on board, I activate Skip Force, I then go into this. You now lose all your spell and trap cards, because I Xyz summon this card using a rank up card. And yes, rank up spell cards do count as Xyz summons, which is why this is so good, because it just destroys all your spell and trap cards, which is a great effect for this card. And its next effect is, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card effect. Wait, no, what? No, I already read that effect. Why am I doing that? Okay, its next effect is, during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 800 attack for each Raidraptor monster in your graveyard. So this effect basically says, your monsters are going to be losing a lot of attack, I'm going to beat you down with 3k, then you're going to take a big amount of damage. Which is really good, I think, because it can actually just lead to OTKs from that point if you can do that. Because say they have, they could have a... What's good this one? Okay, they could be playing Monarchs. They might not have the field spell because you have this. And you can be like, I detach 1 Xyz material. Your Monarch is now going to 0. I now attack you for game, because I have many more Raidraptors on my board. So this card is basically like, I'm going to make big damage that turn regardless. So now, guys, let's talk about the last card of that I'm going to be talking about. Raidraptors Ultimate Falcon. This is a rank 10 dark, 3,500 attack, 2,000 defense. Now, this is basically one of the best cards in the deck. It takes 3 level 10 Winged Beast monsters, to make this card. Its effect is unaffected by other card effects. That's basically the first effect. It's immune to everything. You can only kill this card by battle. So that's just amazing on its own. And its next effect is you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card until the end of this turn. All monsters your opponent control lose 1,000 attack. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. So that effect is basically amazing as well, because you could be like, oh, your monsters are now going to zero. Your monsters are now losing more attack. You can't activate any trap cards this turn or spell cards. So no Mirror Force, no Quaking Mirror Force, none of that. And then you can just be like attack for big damage, which is what I love about this deck. Because also you could be like, summon this. Then summon this off it, activate this, target this, summon this. You have a big monster that can't die by anything but battle, which is just really good. So let's go on to its next effect, which is if this card has Raidraptor monsters as XYZ materials, it gains this effect. Once per turn during each player's end phase, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. If your opponent controls no face-up monsters, inflict 1,000 points of damage to them instead. So basically, every end phase, their monsters are losing 1,000 attack, and if they don't control monsters, they're taking damage. So you make this first turn, instantly, your opponent is going to 7,000 life points. They don't have to play, they're not playing with 8k anymore, they're playing with 7,000 life points. Which is really good. This card is literally one of the best cards in Raidraptors. It is the best card in Raidraptors. It's the boss monster of the entire deck. And I just can't wait for us to actually get this in the TCG. So yeah. Guys, tell me what you thought of this video. Tell me if you liked it. Please tell me what you think of this segment on my channel. And please like, comment, and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Thank you for watching, guys. And I will see you next time.